Hammer game. Cause we always hit the nail on the head. What's going on, Miami Hurricane family? What's going on? What's going on? I know y'all see the mask. Y'all probably wondering why T2I got on a mask. Well, if you've seen my second to last video, then you'll know I shaved my face. I shaved my face. Now, this mask will not come off until the beginning of the season, until the first game. So, if we don't have football, this mask is going to stay on till we do get football. Plain and simple. Let me see what's going on in the chat. Who in the building? Orange and green blood. What's good, my brother? We got yellow. What's going on, man? John Shield. Say, hey, Pinecone family. Dreams come true. Beat Florida State. Beat Clemson. And beat Notre Dame in the ACC championship. Hard to get better than that. Hey, all possible, man. It's all possible. What's going on, D. Guzman? What's going on, Jason? What's good, man? We got a Notre Dame fan in the building. What's up, Ray? How you doing, boss? Jamie said, how about the SEC? No conference game, no Florida State. Yeah, I saw that, man. I seen the reports, and I seen Monkaloo did a video on it earlier too. That's tough, man. That's tough. Now Florida State gonna know how it feel, not playing Florida every year, which I'm pretty sure this season they won't mind because Florida probably gonna beat the brakes off on them anyway. I know we gonna beat the brakes off on them. Notre Dame is overrated every single season. They prove it over and over and over again. Yeah, this time around, they're going to have to actually play a conference game. Because that's one of the main reasons they don't want to be in a conference. They don't want to play that extra game that they could possibly lose and not make it into the playoffs. Ain't no running, ain't no ducking and dodging this time, Notre Dame. Ain't no ducking and dodging. No Georgia versus Georgia Tech, Clemson versus South Carolina, no Louisville, Kentucky. I think the ACC will cancel non-con game and stick to just. It might come down to that because right now I know the ACC is sticking to the 10 games and then they have that one non-conference game. But from what I'm hearing, the non-conference game has got to be in the same state. So, on our non-conference game, we had Temple, we had UAB, and we had Wagner. Wagner's in New York. I think Temple's in New York. I don't even know. I think Temple's up in New York too. And UAB is in Alabama. So if that's the case, we might need to find a team in Florida for a non-con game. Whether that be, FAM. It can't be Florida because, the SEC say they ain't doing nothing but conference games. So we might end up with like Boston College. Not what Boston College. I mean Bethune-Cookman. We might end up with Bethune-Cookman or maybe the guy right next door, FIU. Maybe USF or UCF. It depends on what they conference got to say about, how they going to go about playing. Hold on, let's see here. Say, yeah, we talking to Ray. 904 Hurricane in the building. What's going on, man? Yes, sir. Hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button. Let's see. What good, Pinecone? What's going on, man? How you doing, boss? Say, what about Florida State? We're gonna get into all of that schedule wise. Yeah, what up? Hey, what's going on, Nick, man? So let's start with the ACC scheduling for one. Let's start off with the ACC scheduling. I'm gonna pull that up. I'll pull that up. We're gonna run through Miami's, then we could talk about the rest of the other ones. Yeah, we could run through the other ones, but here we go. So this is what we got here. So this is what we got here for the schedule. Oh, you say Florida Atlantic, not Florida State. Yeah, man. Florida Atlantic could possibly be a part of the schedule too. Like I said, it depends on what these other teams' conference is all about. Because right now they haven't really said much about how they gonna play football either. We just been hearing about the Power Five. Ever since the Big Ten and the Pac-12 decided that it's conference only, it's been like a whole domino effect. Miami had Michigan State. We had to cancel that game off top. So it's gonna be rough because I actually thought that we would have got to see I thought we would have got to see Miami, not Miami, Florida State and Florida. I thought the SEC would have probably did the same thing the ACC did, but they decided they're gonna go their own route. It's just all conference games. They play their regular 8, and then they just gonna add 2 more games to it, which they already got a model of how they want to do things. So looking at the schedule for Miami, we got the home games, which is Florida State, Georgia Tech, North Carolina, Pitt, and Virginia. So those are the home games that we'll have this season. Which, if you ask me, is a lot better than the home games that we was having in the regular season. Because if you look at the regular season, we had Wagner, we had Temple, we had UAB. We had 3 games that possibly none of the fans probably would show up to. So to me, the home games, the 5 home games that we do have now, is an improvement. Now, on the other side, now the away games, we still got Wake Forest, we got Virginia Tech, North Carolina State, Louisville, and we got Clemson, the big Kahuna in the building, Clemson. That's the game that most of everybody's talking about. That's the game that mostly everybody is focused on. It's not a might. Yeah, you're right. You're right. 904. We might play them twice, depending on how they schedule it. Now, if we beat every other team on this list except for Clemson, we could possibly play Clemson again in the championship, depending on what these other teams do. Now, if you look at some of these schedules, they're pretty simple. All we got to do is pretty much knock off the teams that we have to knock off to begin with, plus Clemson now. So our schedule ain't got any easier, but it ain't get that much harder either. The only big name on there is Clemson. Jamie said, I'm excited for the season if it happened, and I really like it. Just come want to be in the conference, blah blah blah. Yeah, man. I mean, it is what it is. I'm just glad we played Clemson. A lot of fans, you know, they feel a certain way about it, but I ain't scared of Clemson. I want to see that matchup anyway. I like to see where we stand at because we've been making all these improvements. I like to see what it stand up against, like a team like Clemson who's been competing for championships. Team like Alabama we play next season, they compete for championship too. So it'll be nice to see what Miami stack up against these teams. And it'll be great to get Clemson earlier on in the season than later on. Because if we don't beat them, then, we still got a chance to regroup and come back harder. But as of right now, that's the schedule. Right now, we just don't have no, order when these games going to be played, who's going to be the first, who's going to be the last, when it's going to be the bye weeks. We don't have none of that now. We don't have the time and the dates yet. We just know that the ACC is set to start the season September 5th, not September 7th, I'm sorry, to the September 12th. So it'll start somewhere in between there. Now, my thing is, this is what we got to talk about. Where do the ranking system come in? Who make it to the playoffs? How do we determine rankings? How do we determine who will make it into the 4-player playoffs? Will they make the playoffs or 8-player, an 8-team thing? Will they modify it? You know, who decides all this? You know, it's going to be a tough process because, I mean, looking at the ACC too, there's a couple teams that could possibly make it out of there. You got Miami, Clemson, even Notre Dame. So one of those teams could possibly win the ACC championship in my book. But who picks who goes to the playoffs if they have a playoff system? You know, who's gonna make the rankings now? How are they gonna go about it? Because there's a lot of things that, you know, got to be factored in. And then, you know, it's gonna be the talk that, you know, the ACC is not that great of a conference versus the SEC, so we're gonna have all these talks. But it's tough. Now, let me know in the chat how would y'all feel if Notre Dame came in here and won this ACC championship? How would y'all feel about that? Let me see what that says right there. Or it could beat Clemson in the regular season and would possibly have to beat them again in the ACC championship. Yep. Trust me, it's a lot of possibilities floating around. It's a lot of possibilities floating around. I just know that if Notre Dame make it to the ACC championship and win it, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be pissed, especially knowing that they came in here and won it before us. I'm gonna be pissed, and knowing that we can't play them again year in and year out and try to avenge whatever it is, because let's say we were to play Notre Dame in the ACC championship and they beat us. It's not like we're gonna get them year in and year out to where we could try to avenge those losses. Now it's tough because I mean, moving forward though, Miami will have better scheduling when it comes to 24, 2024 and 2025. That'll be our year to where we'll have a strong schedule outside of conference because we will play Notre Dame and Florida both seasons back to back. So we'll have Notre Dame and Florida on the schedule plus our regular schedule. Not to mention we will have 2 other non-con games. So 2024 and 2025, Miami schedule, pick up some heat depending on how Notre Dame is doing by then, depending on how Florida is doing by then. If things continue the way they are, then we'll have a pretty good schedule, pretty tough schedule to where we won't be like second guessed when it comes to the end of the season if we undefeated or 11-1 or something like that. What's going on, man? How you doing, man? I hope we beat them, man. Because right now the experts they're saying that Clemson is the favorite in all of this. They're saying that Clemson should be able to beat everybody on their schedule by at least 2 touchdowns. That's what they're saying. So let's just hope we can go out there and prove them wrong, Yo, what's going on, Big Kane White? How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling about this schedule? How do y'all feel about them letting Notre Dame in the conference? well, not even in the conference. They just coming in here to take games, and how y'all feeling about that? I'm gonna put the link in the chat. So if anybody want to come in and talk about this, as long as you have StreamYard, you can come on in. It's gonna be an open discussion tonight. The link is in the chat, y'all. For anybody that wants to come in and give their opinion, talk about what's going on with the scheduling, how they feel about it. The link is in the chat. Yeah, man. That's how we all feel right now, Big K. We all just want some football, man. I'm glad to see they making steps towards, us having a season, us having some kind of, you know, some kind of knowledge of what's going on, or what to expect. Because, at any point, a lot of this stuff could change. Ray said that would be hilarious if Notre Dame won the ACC. Nah, it wouldn't be hilarious. It would be hilarious to Notre Dame fans, and we probably wouldn't hear the end of it from them. Probably won't hear the end of it from Florida State, Clemson fans, and all of them. They love Miami. Yeah, man. But like I said, the link is in the chat for anybody who wants to come on and, you know, chop it up and talk about their scheduling possibilities, you name it. Just click the link and come on in. If you got StreamYard, you don't have to necessarily come on in with a video. You can come on in with just audio also. All you gotta do is just turn the camera off. But the chat is open for anybody who want to have a discussion on this, want to give their opinion. You're more than welcome to come on in. All right. I got a few names. I got a few recruit names that we need to take a look at because Miami is looking at these guys. I mean, we still got some spots open. Still got a few spots on the let's say we get the other three Palmetto boys. We still got a few spots we can fill. So it's a couple names that Miami is still interested in. I'm gonna run through some of those with you guys too. Y'all probably already heard some of these names. All right, so we can start off. Let me share this with you guys. Yo, what's going on, boss? Yeah, I like the schedule too. Orange Green Blood. I like the fact that it makes our home games a lot better than they were before. And I just hope they let fans in the stands. That's the only thing. I hope that they let fans in the stand. Might not be full capacity, but somewhat. Let's check out this dude. Y'all probably heard of him already. It's Tristan Lee. So this guy right here, man, he's an O-line, offensive tackle. Offensive tackle. He's 6'5", 270 pounds. He's from Virginia. He's 2021 class, 5-star recruit. In Virginia, he's number one. Number one, number 3 OT in the country. Nationally is 11. So right now on his list so far, it's Clemson, LSU. You got Alabama, Maryland, Ohio State, just to name a few. These are the schools that made him offers. Basically, got Oklahoma, Arkansas, Auburn, Florida, Florida State, Boston College, Georgia, Miami, Michigan, Michigan State, North Carolina, Notre Dame. You name it. Everybody is going after this kid. Tennessee, South Carolina, Texas, UCF, Virginia, Virginia Tech, West Virginia, Texas A&M. Now, there a lot of them got different predictions on this guy. Some people saying he's more towards Clemson. Some's going for Penn State, LSU, and you got Oklahoma up in the mix also. But these are all just where they think they're gonna land. But nothing ain't set. But Miami is recruiting this kid. They're very interested in him. Like I said, offensive tackle. You guys do know that offensive tackle is a position that we definitely could use some help. Said Miami can beat Clemson, but the key is to make Lawrence uncomfortable. Yeah, I mean Lawrence gonna be very uncomfortable playing against Miami. You got Russo on one side, and you got Rochi on the other side. He's gonna be very uncomfortable. It ain't gonna be a regular game for Clemson. Lawrence is gonna have to put them feet to work. He ain't gonna just sit in the pocket. So it's gonna be a very uncomfortable game for him. Not to mention too, if we playing at Clemson and there's hardly no fans in the stands, that home field advantage just went straight out the window. It ain't gonna be loud enough in there for to really cause any. Pretty much every game right now, you could just toss away the home field advantage unless some miracle happened before the season started and they decided to let fans come on in or go to a certain capacity. Because I know Ohio State announced that they're only doing 20% fans in the stands. So imagine 20%. It's probably like people sitting maybe seven. I want to say maybe 7 seats apart. Imagine looking in the stands and it's that far apart and stuff. So it ain't gonna be that loud effect that normally happens. So that home field advantage stuff that just went out the window. So that's one name that Miami is very interested in. Tristan. Got another one on here too. This guy's from Tallahassee. He's a 4-star. Miami's looking at this guy also. He's a safety, 6 foot, 180. He's from Tallahassee, Florida. John Paul Catholic. He's a 4-star. The number 9 safety, 29th in the state of Florida. Right now, these are the schools that's pursuing him. They're saying that he's most likely looking towards Alabama, Florida, or Florida State. You check out the schools that's making offers to this kid. You got Auburn in the mix. FIU, they funny. Dang, all the Florida schools up going after them. F, you know, Georgia, Illinois, Georgia Tech, LSU, Maryland, Miami, Michigan State, Nebraska, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Penn State. So he's getting some big names. Some big offers. Texas, Tennessee, USC. So this kid is being highly recruited. He's very talented. We're not gonna spend time and watch their highlights today. We want to see before we want to see us. We'll start watching their highlights after we figure out whether or not we're gonna get the Palmetto, the other three of the Palmetto to commit. Because if that happens, then half of the kids on this list we won't have room for them. Because there's a lot of names on this list. I'm just running a few of them by you. But these are the kids that Miami is pursuing. They're very, interested in these kids. And they made offers to them. See, this one they saying, he's leaning more towards Florida State. But this kid is Chambray Jackson. He's from Orlando, Florida. He's a defensive end, 6'2", 230 pounds. He's a four-star prospect, 31 in the state of Florida. Then he's 17 when it comes to the ends, and 220 in the nation. It's, like I said, he's being recruited pretty solid too. They're saying that he's looking more towards Alabama, Auburn, or maybe even Florida State. But let's see who all made offers to him. So Florida, Georgia, Georgia Tech, LSU, Miami, Michigan State, Ohio State, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, UCF, USF, USC, Texas A&M, Virginia Tech. Yeah, like I said, these kids are getting solid offers. These are highly recruited kids. So if you were to land one of these kids, it'll be an amazing class. They're loaded with talent, man. Loaded with talent. I got maybe like two more names I'm gonna run by you guys. This one you might have heard of. Miami's highly recruiting this guy. All right, so you got Longston. Bryce Longston. He's a defensive end, 6'2", call it 6'3", 250 pounds. He's from Ocala, Florida. Four-star, 21 in the state of Florida, 11 in defensive end. They're saying he's leaning more towards Florida. All the crystal ball prediction, all these guys, these experts, they're saying more towards Florida. They're saying that Florida's warmer. LSU is on his trail too. And let's look at the rest of the list of schools that's going after him. You got Auburn, Florida State, Georgia, Miami, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Texas. I'm sorry, Tennessee, Penn State, Oregon. So he got some pretty solid offers. He has not made a commitment yet, so he's still out there. And last one we're gonna check out is Marquis. All right, so you got Marquis Robinson. He's a defensive tackle, 6'3", 300 pounds. He's from Moulton, Florida. He's a 4-star, 51 in his position in Florida, 18 as a defensive tackle. The experts, only one expert really weighed in and said that they're thinking he's going to Auburn. But on his list right now, you got Auburn, you got Florida State, Alabama, Georgia, and Miami. Um, his full list of schools that's making offers. You got Ohio State on there, Tennessee, UCF, Louisville. So he doesn't have that many offers like the rest of the kids do, but he's still a solid, prospect. So that means you know, his commitment should be pretty soon. Oh, he said I want football. I feel Orange and Green Blood said I feel like you need to be holding an an AK-47 with that mask on. Oh man, that's funny. So if the defensive front get after Trevor Lawrence, then the secondary will have a field day. Oh yeah, it'll be it'll be turnover chains all day. It'll be turnover chains all day. I hope the God Clemson Clemson ain't nothing like their fans. Because I hope they do not think that this is going to be just one of them cake runs to come on in here and think they're going to get a easy win or whatever. Because it ain't happening like that. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna put the link. I'm gonna put the link one more time in the put the link in the chat. Anybody want to come on in and talk about this scheduling, how they feel about it? Come on in and join me on the screen. Yeah, like I said, the link is in the chat. Come on in and join me on the screen. Okay, another thing too. I'm not sure if you guys heard, but Virginia Tech. Yo, what's going on, Moke City King? What's going on, boss? How you doing, man? So I'm not sure if you guys heard, but we got our first player to opt out of, you know, playing football this season from Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, Caleb Caleb Farley decided that he's not going to play this season. He's going to take the time out to basically train for the NFL draft or whatever. He's not going to play this season. He already put out a video. I'm gonna see if I can find that video for you guys, but I saw the video earlier where he was telling them basically that he's not going to play this season. He's not going to, take that risk. But that we could see that happening a lot more moving forward because a lot of these kids probably won't feel safe playing, with this whole corona thing going on. Yeah. Man, YouTube is a funny place, man. The actual video of him saying it himself has been covered up by so many other videos that other creators have made. It's funny, man. It's so hard to find it. Muck City Kane say he heard that Clemson quarterback too. I haven't heard anything on Trevor Lawrence, but that might be a possibility too, depending on how long the season stretch. Because you know the NFL say they're not moving, they draft. So if this season stretch towards where they can't make it into you know the NFL deadlines or whatever, a lot of these kids that could possibly get drafted right now without even playing, I think a lot of them will do it. So would you play the team song pregame to pump them up? I mean, might as well. You're gonna have to do something to get them kids hyped, man. It ain't like running out that tunnel and then so thousands of fans out there, cheering and going crazy. The building ain't gonna be rocking. You know, it's gonna be tough to keep these kids motivated, man. Hopefully, they just go out there. Don't get distracted by the stands being empty or anything like that, and just go out there and get the job done. I mean, it's a great opportunity to still have the chance to actually play a season. But even like with Caleb Farley out for Virginia Tech, that's a good thing for Miami because that dude is like a shutdown corner. He was ranked on 247 Sports top 50 players. He was ranked number 12 in the country. So that's a tough loss for Virginia Tech. That just made their team a little bit more easier to beat now. Yeah, I just wish I could actually find the actual video without everybody else, giving their input on it. Close that door. Yeah, see, nobody actually posted the actual video on here. It's crazy. Oh man, a lot of YouTubers be scared of that copyright. You be scared to get that copyright. Yo, Canes for Life, what's going on, man? How you doing, boss? Kane for Life in the building. I'm gonna put the link in the chat one more time. If anybody want to come on in and weigh in, give their opinion on the schedule, the ACC schedule, the SEC schedule, everything that's going on right now. Y'all come on in, join me. All right, so let me share this with you guys too. All right, so we got I'm looking for the graph. They had a graph on here. I guess they took it down, but they had a graph that was showing the odds of Miami. They were showing the odds. They had the graph. I mean, they have it written right here. Basically, the odds of Miami winning the ACC championship. They have the odds of all the ACC teams winning the championship. So I'm gonna just run through it. Clemson is clear cut favorite, you know, to win it. They're at 550. Um, Notre Dame not too far behind them at 700, and then you got Miami in third with 1,000. North Carolina. So basically, if you bet $100 on Miami winning the ACC championship, and they actually do, your hundred will be 1,000. You'll turn $100 into 1,000. So you'll make your money times 10. The odds of North Carolina is at 1,400. The odds of Florida State winning the ACC championship is at 2,000. Virginia Tech's at 2,000. Now, if you put if you put your money on Georgia Tech, who they are dead last at 15,000, you put 100 on them, God knows you'll be a rich man. I'm telling you, you'll be a rich man. You put 100 on them, you're gonna make 150,000. Yeah, I told Mr. Jackson to come to the show tonight, John, but I still haven't seen him in the chat yet. I think what he thought was hold on, let's say. Yeah, I think Mr. John probably John, I think Mr. Jacks probably thought that Zoe's gonna be on here. So he probably scared of Zoe. Hey, brother, getting right on here. How you doing? But what you think about the upcoming schedule? Yeah, we had touched on that a little bit earlier, but Jay, Junior, I like the home games. I like it better than what we had before. I mean, the non-con game is probably going to be a team in Florida, so I like that even better. So we probably won't play Temple. We probably won't play UAB or Wagner. We'll probably play somebody like FIU, FAU, USF, UCF, Bethune Cookman, FAMU. Who else is around? I think that's probably about it. But we'll play one of those teams, which to me is better. I wish we could play the Gators, but they also ain't playing no conference game. The SEC said that it's playing out just conference. That's it. So the Florida State and Florida game is canceled. Clemson versus South Carolina canceled. Georgia versus Georgia Tech canceled. I thought they would do something to preserve those rivalry games, but apparently not. The SEC said forget everybody. He said we should grab Michael Jackson Jr. out of the transfer portal, go out to Tristan Stone, very likely quarterback recruit. Hold on, I'm gonna pull them up. I'm gonna pull those two names up right now, see what they're about. What was the hold on? What was the first one? Michael Johnson Jr. What year? Uh, what year is What year is Michael Johnson? And what year is Preston Stone? Yeah, I mean that's Notre Dame. Basically, they want their independence when it comes to football. They want to still be able to schedule rivalry games outside of the ACC. They don't want to be tied down to playing eight ACC games. They want their rivalry with like Stanford. They want their rivalry with USC, with Navy, you name it, BYU, and all those other teams that they play. So they don't want to be stuck with playing eight conference games. They want their schedule to be open at all times. They don't. That's why they only schedule like I think six ACC teams every year, and the rest of their schedule is open to them. So that's why they haven't joined in football. Michael with the Michael Johnson and Preston Stones, I'm gonna have to do some research on them, find out what they're about, see, and I'll get back to you guys on those two. I might do depending on what I find out on these two, I might do a video on them. Might just drop a regular video on them instead of doing it on live. But it depends on what I find out of them. You say Preston is 2020 recruit. We went after him in 2019. Okay. Yeah, I'd look. I'll look for him. Where did he end up signing? Where's he transferring from? Yo, what's going on, VT? I'm gonna put the link in the chat one more time. If anybody want to come in and join me, they can. If not, I'm gonna wrap it up. The link is in the chat. So if anybody want to come on in and give their opinion on the schedule, how they feeling about Notre Dame being a part of the ACC trying to possibly win that ACC championship. How would you feel if they end up beating Miami or Clemson for the ACC championship? If we get Taylor and Marshall, are we going to be number 3 in recruiting? Well, that depends on their grades and how much more it would push us up. But if you look at recruiting right now, the other day Miami was at number 10, and with a few commits here and there, when you look at the recruit now, we're at number 16. So what you got right now, you see a couple of days ago, Ohio State was number 1 in the country. Well, now the players for Georgia, they're pretty much making their commits. A lot of players are making their commitments now. So the teams that didn't have the commits before, they're getting them now. Like look at Georgia. Georgia got 25 commits now. I think the other day they only had like maybe 13 or 15 or so. So Now their recruits are coming in. They got 4 or 5 stars signed. You got Alabama still at number 2. They got 4 or 5 stars signed, and you seen Clemson was at number 9. Now they're at number 3 because they got 5 stars coming in. LSU doing it, Ohio State went from being number 1 to number 5 now. Basically, it's early to predict where we're gonna finish when it comes to recruiting. Because as you can see, Miami got 21 recruits already, and we're sitting at number 16. So it depends on how high up these players are graded. I mean, Florida is pretty much gone. I think Florida don't Florida have like what 20, 25 or 26 what you call it slots. It depends on how many slots. John, I say on our schedule right now in the ACC, all 10 games. If we beat Clemson, we're 10-0. If we lose to Clemson, we're 9-1. That's how I predict it. North Carolina game probably be a challenge, and Virginia Tech game with the departure of Caleb Farley, and plus we almost beat them last season and everything like that with that system that because if you look at that game, the spread offense was what Nkosi was running when he made that comeback. So I think we could beat Virginia Tech, no doubt. Plus, they're already down one of their biggest stars. Other than that, I think we if we do beat Clemson, we could be 10-0 in the ACC. If we don't beat Clemson, then we'll probably be 9-1. And whoever the non-con game is, so we'll probably be 10-1 or 11-0. That's how I see it. But like I said, man, Miami got 21 commits. I think we got 4 more slots, or 4 or 5 more slots left. I think it's 4. I think we got 4 slots left to sign 4 more players. So basically, we could sign the other 3 Palmetto boys, and then we could sign somebody else. If it is 5, then we could sign 2 more people after the Palmetto. But I think most teams tap out at 25. North Carolina at 26. So I'm gonna go with 26 or 27 slots because even Penn State got 27 slots. Yeah, but teams like Ohio State, their recruitment is pretty much done for right now. Georgia's probably pretty much done. Alabama's pretty much done. So Miami still got some room to where they could get back up in the top 10. But it's basically based off your grade and points that you accumulate from these players. Because as you know, 5-star players are graded pretty high, so they just average it out. You'll end up with an average. So, like I said, we only signed we only got 21 commits so far. So we got like maybe 5 more slots to fill. So we could still probably end up in the top 10. Want to say we'll finish if we get the players that we're going after. We'll finish better than Florida. We'll probably finish at maybe like 7-ish to the top 10. Somewhere 7 to 10. Somewhere from 7 to 10. We'll finish somewhere up in there. David said I need to stop. Uh, we go from 6-7 to 10-1. I hate us Kings fans. I mean, it is what it is, man. We all got our opinions. At the end of the day, it is what it is. You could say we going 6-7 again, or I could say we going 10-1. Right now, I mean, either me or you won't be wrong. But at the end of the season, then we'll find out who was right or wrong. Right now, it's all prediction. Hell, I could predict we go 3-6, but that don't mean I'm gonna be right. It's all opinions at the end of the day. But just because we had a bad season, I'm a Canes fan. That don't mean I should be down on my team and make predictions like the other guy or so-called be realistic. These are my opinion. This what I see. I look at the team for what it is. I look at the improvements that we made. Right now, we're the number one improved team in the country. Every position that we was lacking on, we assessed. See, I can agree with that orange and green blood, 10-1, or maybe 9-2. That I can agree with that. You know, it's around that range that with the talent and everything that we have, and the coaching staff and the players that we do have that ran that system before. These 10-1 or 9-2 is achievable. I'm For what I think we can achieve. I'm going to go to the highest on that. I'm not going to go to the lowest, and I'm not going to try to please any other fan base. I'm not going to try to please Georgia fan. If Georgia fans say we going to 8-4, if we were playing those 12 games, I'm not just going to say, yeah, we going 8-4 just to agree with them or to please them. I don't care about trolls. They can troll all they want. This is what I believe on my team, the team that I watch. You say we're not gonna finish higher than Florida, bro. Y'all recruiting is pretty much over. Y'all recruiting is pretty much over. You're sitting in the same spot, bro. You may be able to sign one or two more players, but your recruiting is over. So we definitely got the possibility of passing y'all. Look at the grade average of the players that y'all have signed. It's at 90. Miami's like right there with you guys, bro. You signed more players than us, and your grade average is at 90.7. We signed less players than you, and we already at 90. So we definitely will finish better than Florida. If we sign the players that we're looking at, that we've made offers to, those Palmetto 3, we will have a better class than Florida. Exactly, exactly. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up, man. I'm gonna go spend some time with the family. I hope you guys had a good night. You know, tomorrow night I'll be on Turn Tally Channel. We'll be doing the Florida State versus Miami. Giving you guys updates on what's going on between both teams. And I'll probably be kicking them while Florida State is down because they pretty much not making any improvements. Let's see where they're at right now in recruiting. Oh, they're still sitting at. See, their class is pretty much finished. Their recruiting is pretty much finished. Florida State signed 25 players, a whole bunch of 3-star players. They signed 16 3-star players, 8 4-star players, 0 5-star players. Their recruitment is pretty much done too, which is tough. But they'll probably finish a little bit lower than they are right now. That's tough, man. I have never seen Florida State this horrible in recruiting. It's crazy. All right, y'all, man. Y'all take it easy, man. Y'all have a good night. Go Canes. Make sure if you haven't hit that like button, hit that like button for me.